The Oklahoma Geological Survey last month issued a statement calling it very likely that earthquake swarms that have rocked Oklahoma in recent years are the result of injection wastewater by the oil and gas industry. It's the first time the survey has specifically linked wastewater injection wells with earthquakes. State Impact Oklahoma reporter Joe Wertz has done extensive reporting on the issue, and ONR's Dick Pryor spoke with him about the OGS statement and what it will mean to the state.
Joe, what did the Oklahoma Geological Survey report actually do?
So the report from the Geological Survey was really like a formal policy paper. It clarifies their formal policy going forward, their formal position that most of the quakes in Oklahoma's earthquake surge are very likely linked to oil and gas activity. So that's the state's sort of formal position now, and that'll be used sort of as the basis when lawmakers are talking about sort of the state's perspective on things, when potential new rules are being considered. That is the state's formal position now. So when lawmakers, regulators, policymakers turn and want to know what the state's sort of position is, this is it, and this is really what's been formalized. So
they're saying the science is settled.
They're saying the science is settled to the extent that we know that oil and gas is playing a role. Oil and gas activity is playing a role in the earthquake surge. Right.
Has that changed best practices in the state?
Best practices have changed in the state. The oil and gas regulator, the Corporation Commission, has changed well permitting. It has changed data requirements for disposal well operators. Most recently, it got as aggressive as it's been, issued some direct orders to operators telling them to prove that you're not injecting in this more risky area, or run the risk of having your operation activities cut. So they're being more aggressive, and things have evolved recently.
The USGS has issued new hazard maps. Right. What's the upshot of that?
Well, the hazard maps are really important, and they help building designers, safety planners, insurance companies, risk analysis people predict and forecast ground movement and shaking. If you're designing a building, you need to know the likelihood that it's going to shake. And these artificial earthquakes, these disposal well induced earthquakes, don't fit the pattern that we know from natural earthquakes. So the USGS hazard maps and the preliminary stuff they've released is an attempt to help building designers, public safety officials, people that need this information, help them plan for a world that's shaking in a way that it wasn't.
How prepared is Oklahoma for the bigger earthquakes?
Well, that's a good question, and as being somebody that understands government and covers them, you're never convinced anybody's prepared until something happens to make them prepared. But they're starting to look at bridges and roads. They have been looking at bridges and roads, but now they're getting some funding to look at it in a more strategic way. Government's responding. Regulators are working on it. It's hard to know exactly what they're doing, but at least they're making assurances to me that that they're taking it seriously.
Joe Wertz from State Impact Oklahoma, thank you.
Thank you.